Good morning. I'm Dr. James. I want to share a concerning story that highlights a critical health issue many seniors face without even realizing it. Robert was 68 years old, and his morning ritual, which he'd followed for 3 decades, 3 scrambled eggs with toast, almost became his last. He genuinely believed he was doing everything right. He was active, diligent with his medications, and considered eggs an ideal protein source for maintaining strength in his later years. Yet one particular morning, his routine shattered. Robert collapsed in his kitchen, clutching his chest. An ambulance rushed him to the emergency room, where we discovered dangerously high cholesterol levels and severely blocked arteries. When questioned about his diet, the truth emerged. Those daily eggs, combined with several crucial mistakes Robert was unaware he was making, had been silently damaging his cardiovascular system for decades. Today, I need to bring to light 10 common egg mistakes that seniors often make every single day. Mistakes that could be putting your health at serious risk. We've ranked these from concerning to potentially life-threatening. What truly surprised me most during my research was that mistake number 4 has been scientifically proven to more than double your risk of heart disease. Number 7 involves a bacterial threat that leads to thousands of senior hospitalizations annually. And the mistake at number 1, it's so incredibly common that you might be making it right now without even realizing the implications. The good news is you don't have to eliminate eggs from your diet completely. In fact, when prepared and consumed correctly, eggs can absolutely remain a part of a healthy diet for seniors. The core issue isn't the eggs themselves, but rather how we handle them, how we cook them, and how we integrate them into our daily routines. By the end of our discussion today, you'll understand exactly which mistakes to avoid, how to correct them, and most importantly, how to safeguard yourself and your loved ones from the hidden dangers that can lurk in something as seemingly simple as a breakfast egg. I'll also provide practical solutions designed to protect your health. Let's begin. Mistake number 10, washing eggs before storing them. This particular mistake often surprises people. Many seniors instinctively wash their eggs immediately after purchasing them from the grocery store, believing they are taking extra precautions for cleanliness. However, there's a crucial detail most people don't know. Eggs possess a natural protective coating called the bloom or cuticle. This coating seals the porous shell, acting as a natural barrier to prevent bacteria from entering. When you wash eggs prior to storing them, you inadvertently remove this vital protective barrier. Once that coating is gone, bacteria such as salmonella can easily penetrate through the tiny pores in the eggshell and contaminate the egg inside. This risk is particularly elevated for seniors because our immune systems naturally weaken with age, making us significantly more susceptible to foodborne illnesses. In the United States, commercially sold eggs are already thoroughly washed and sanitized before they even reach the store. This is precisely why they must be refrigerated. If you happen to be buying eggs from a local farm or a farmer's market, they might still have their natural bloom intact. In such cases, it is absolutely essential that you do not wash them until immediately before you plan to use them. The fix is straightforward. Store your eggs unwashed in their original carton. Place them in the coldest part of your refrigerator, typically the back or a middle shelf, not in the door where temperature fluctuations are common. Only rinse them under cool water right before cracking if they appear visibly dirty. Mistake number 9. Storing eggs in the refrigerator door. Continuing our discussion on proper storage, mistake number 9 concerns the specific location where you keep your eggs in the fridge. That convenient egg holder, often built into your refrigerator door, is in fact one of the least ideal places to store eggs. Let me explain why this is particularly important for seniors. The door is the warmest section of your refrigerator. This is because it is repeatedly exposed to room temperature air every time you open it. These constant temperature fluctuations can lead to condensation forming on the eggshell. Condensation, in turn, creates a moist environment that significantly increases the risk of bacterial growth and can substantially reduce the egg's shelf life. Furthermore, the constant movement and vibration from opening and closing the door can also affect the internal structure and quality of the egg over time. Good morning. Today I want to discuss some crucial aspects of egg safety, especially as we get older. Let's start with something you might not even consider: how you store your eggs in the refrigerator. Frequent opening and closing of the refrigerator door, believe it or not, can cause tiny, almost invisible cracks in eggshells. These microscopic fissures then become easy entry points for bacteria. To ensure optimal safety and minimize this risk, always keep your eggs in their original carton. Place this carton on a middle or lower shelf towards the back of the refrigerator. This area typically maintains the most consistent temperature, ideally between 33 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The carton itself offers more than just convenience. It provides cushioning against minor impacts and helps prevent the eggs from absorbing odors from other foods in your fridge. Next, let's talk about cooking. I know many of you enjoy eggs with a runny yolk, perhaps sunny side up or soft-boiled. While this is a preference for many, it's a practice that poses a significant health risk for seniors. Raw or undercooked eggs can carry salmonella bacteria, a common cause of food poisoning. While anyone can become ill from salmonella, individuals over the age of 65 face a much higher risk of severe complications. As we age, our immune systems naturally become less robust. What might be a few uncomfortable days for a younger person could lead to severe dehydration, high fever, and potentially life-threatening issues requiring hospitalization for a senior. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports approximately 1.35 million salmonella infections annually in the United States, with seniors unfortunately accounting for a disproportionate share of hospitalizations and fatalities. My recommendation for a safe approach is to cook your eggs until both the white and the yolk are firm. This means ensuring the internal temperature reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit, which is sufficient to eliminate harmful bacteria. If you're preparing dishes that traditionally use raw eggs, such as homemade mayonnaise or Caesar salad dressing, please opt for pasteurized eggs as a safer alternative. Another common error, particularly during family gatherings or holiday brunches, is leaving cooked eggs or egg dishes at room temperature for too long. Leaving cooked eggs out for more than 2 hours creates an ideal environment for bacteria to multiply rapidly. This is especially risky for seniors, whose metabolism and digestive systems might be slower. The danger zone for bacterial growth is between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where bacteria can double in number every 20 minutes. Imagine an egg casserole left on a buffet for 3 hours. It could easily harbor millions of bacterial cells. The symptoms of food-borne illness from contaminated eggs, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramps, and fever can quickly lead to dehydration and electrolyte imbalances in seniors. This is particularly concerning if you're managing conditions like heart disease, diabetes, or high blood pressure and taking specific medications. The solution is straightforward, though it requires attention. Refrigerate all cooked eggs and egg dishes within 2 hours of preparation. If the ambient temperature is above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, this time frame shortens to just 1 hour. When serving eggs at events, always use a warming tray or chafing dish to ensure they remain hot, above 140 degrees Fahrenheit, thereby staying out of the danger zone. Finally, let's discuss expiration dates. This might seem obvious, but it's a mistake I see frequently. Seniors consuming eggs well past their marked expiration date, believing they're still safe because they look and smell normal. This is a risk I strongly advise against. Our sense of smell can diminish with age, meaning you might not detect the subtle signs of spoilage that you once could. An egg that appears perfectly fine to you could, in fact, be contaminated with harmful bacteria. Egg cartons are clearly marked with either a sell-by or an expiration date. While properly refrigerated eggs are generally safe to eat for 3 to 5 weeks after purchase, the risk of bacterial contamination significantly increases once that expiration date has passed. Please always adhere to these dates for your safety. Hello, I'm Dr. James, and today we're going to discuss some important facts about eggs, from how to tell if they're fresh to how they fit into a heart-healthy diet, especially for seniors. First, let's talk about freshness. A simple way to check if an egg is still good is to place it in a bowl of water. A fresh egg will sink to the bottom and lie flat on its side. If an egg stands on one end at the bottom, it's still safe to eat, but I recommend you use it soon. However, if an egg floats to the surface, you should dispose of it immediately. It's gone bad. For those living alone or who don't use eggs frequently, consider buying smaller cartons. This helps ensure you'll use them up well before their expiration date. And always check the date before purchasing. And never buy eggs from cartons with cracked shells. Now let's address some common errors, starting with mistake number 5. Cooking eggs in too much butter or oil. Many of us grew up in a time when butter and oil weren't viewed as significant health concerns, and old habits can be hard to break. But cooking your eggs in excessive amounts of saturated fat can unfortunately turn a relatively healthy food into a risk factor for cardiovascular disease. When you cook eggs in a generous amount of butter, you're adding substantial saturated fat and cholesterol to your meal. For seniors who may already be managing high cholesterol or heart disease, this combination can be particularly detrimental. For instance, a single large egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, all of which is found in the yolk. If you add 2 tablespoons of butter to cook that egg, you're introducing an additional 31 milligrams of cholesterol and 7 grams of saturated fat. The American Heart Association recommends limiting saturated fat to roughly 13 grams per day for someone on a 2,000-calorie diet. So, that buttery scrambled egg breakfast alone could account for more than half your daily saturated fat limit, even before you add toast or bacon. What are the better options? I recommend using a non-stick pan with just a light spray of cooking oil, or try cooking your eggs in a small amount of olive oil, which provides heart-healthy mono-unsaturated fats. Poaching or boiling eggs are also excellent choices, as they require no added fat at all. If you truly love the flavor of butter, consider using it sparingly as a finishing touch, rather than cooking the eggs directly in it. Next, we come to mistake number 4, eating too many eggs per week. This is a significant point, as scientific research has directly linked this mistake to a more than doubling of heart disease risk for some individuals. For decades, the recommendations regarding egg consumption have fluctuated, which has understandably left many seniors feeling confused about what's actually safe. However, recent large-scale studies have provided some concerning evidence. One significant piece of research, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association, followed over 29,000 adults for an average of 17 years. It found that each additional half an egg consumed per day was associated with a 6% higher risk of cardiovascular disease and an 8% higher risk of death from any cause. Another study from 2021 examined data from over 500,000 adults and found that consuming more than one egg per day was associated with a significantly higher risk of heart disease and stroke, particularly in seniors over the age of 65. The researchers concluded that people who ate one or more eggs daily had more than double the risk compared to those who ate eggs less frequently. The core of the problem here centers on cholesterol and a compound called TMAO. When you eat eggs, bacteria in your gut convert a nutrient called choline, which is abundant in egg yolks, into trimethylamine oxide, or TMAO. Elevated levels of TMAO have been strongly associated with an increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and death from cardiovascular causes. For seniors who already have risk factors such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or a history of heart disease, consuming multiple eggs daily can be particularly dangerous. The cholesterol in eggs can contribute to plaque buildup in arteries that may already be narrowed by age-related changes. So, what's a safe number? Most cardiologists now recommend that seniors limit their consumption to no more than 3 to 4 whole eggs per week. If you'd like to enjoy eggs more frequently, a great alternative is to use egg whites, which contain no cholesterol and are pure protein. In most recipes, 2 egg whites can easily replace 1 whole egg. Hello, I'm Dr. James, and today we're going to discuss some common misconceptions and mistakes seniors often make when it comes to incorporating eggs into their diet. While eggs can be a nutritious part of a healthy diet, there are specific situations where they can inadvertently pose risks, or where combining them with other foods can create an unhealthy scenario. Mistake number 3, medication interactions. Our third mistake is one that's often overlooked, yet it could be significantly impacting the health of millions of seniors right now. It involves how certain medications, commonly prescribed to older adults, can interact with compounds found in eggs. These interactions can either reduce the medication's effectiveness or, unfortunately, increase unwanted side effects. Let's start with statins. These are cholesterol-lowering medications, among the most prescribed drugs for seniors. If you're taking a statin and regularly consuming eggs, which do contain cholesterol, you could inadvertently be working against the very medication designed to help you. While the dietary cholesterol in eggs isn't believed to impact blood cholesterol as dramatically as once thought, it still plays a role, especially when combined with other dietary sources. Blood thinners present another important concern. Egg yolks naturally contain vitamin K, a nutrient vital for blood clotting. If you're prescribed medications like warfarin or Coumadin, sudden or inconsistent changes in your egg consumption can directly affect how well your medication works to prevent clots. The key here is consistency. You should aim to consume roughly the same amount of vitamin K containing foods, including eggs, each week. Finally, there's an interaction many seniors are not aware of, involving certain antibiotics. Eggs are a good source of calcium, and calcium can interfere with the absorption of antibiotics, particularly those in the tetracycline family, and some fluoroquinolones. If you're taking these specific medications, it's advisable to avoid eating eggs for at least 2 hours before and after your dose to ensure proper absorption. The solution to these potential issues is straightforward. Always have a detailed conversation about your diet with your doctor whenever you're prescribed a new medication. Specifically, ask if eggs or other high cholesterol or high protein foods might interact with your prescriptions. And if you're on blood thinners, keeping a simple food diary can be incredibly helpful for maintaining a consistent vitamin K intake. Mistake number 2, combining eggs with other high-risk foods. Now, let's move on to mistake number 2. And this is where many seniors unknowingly create a perfect storm of health risks. It's not just about the eggs themselves. It's crucially about what you're eating alongside them. The classic American breakfast, unfortunately, can be a disaster for senior cardiovascular health. Think about it. Eggs, often paired with bacon or sausage, buttered toast, and hash browns. This combination delivers a massive hit of saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and refined carbohydrates all at once. For a senior with existing heart disease or diabetes, this type of meal can unfortunately trigger acute cardiovascular events. Let me break down the numbers for you. A typical plate with 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, buttered toast, and a serving of hash browns can easily contain over 800 milligrams of cholesterol, 30 grams of saturated fat, and 2,500 milligrams of sodium. To put that in perspective, that's more cholesterol than you should consume in 3 days, more than twice your daily saturated fat limit, and 2/3 of your daily sodium allowance, all in just one meal. The sodium content is particularly concerning for seniors. High sodium intake significantly raises blood pressure, and seniors are already at an increased risk for hypertension. When you combine high cholesterol from eggs with high sodium from processed meats and high saturated fat from butter, you're creating an inflammatory environment in your blood vessels that can unfortunately lead to serious events like heart attacks and strokes. Furthermore, processed meats, like bacon and sausage, contain compounds called nitrites and nitrates, which have been classified as probable carcinogens. Regular consumption has been linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer, a condition seniors are already more susceptible to. The fix for this requires rethinking your entire breakfast plate. If you're having eggs, consider pairing them with nutrient-rich vegetables like spinach, tomatoes, or peppers. Choose whole grain toast and ideally skip the butter. Or better yet, opt for fresh fruit on the side. Instead of bacon, try a small serving of avocado for healthy fats, or even smoked salmon, which provides beneficial omega-3 fatty acids that actively protect your heart. Mistake number 1, believing eggs alone are enough protein. And now, we come to what I believe is the number 1 mistake seniors make with eggs. This issue is so widespread that it's currently affecting the health and longevity of millions of older adults. Many seniors operate under the assumption that because eggs are high in protein, eating them daily provides. Greetings. Many individuals mistakenly believe that eggs alone can provide all the protein their body needs. This common misconception often leads to a dietary pattern that lacks variety and, critically, misses out on essential nutrients that eggs simply cannot provide. Let's clarify this. While eggs are indeed a good source of protein, with approximately 6 grams per large egg, relying primarily on them for your protein requirements creates several potential problems. Firstly, it can lead to an overexposure to cholesterol and the associated risks we've previously discussed. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly, it prevents you from obtaining the diverse array of nutrients found in other protein sources. Different protein sources offer unique amino acid profiles, vital vitamins, and essential minerals. For example, fish provides omega-3 fatty acids, which are crucial for fighting inflammation and protecting brain health. Legumes offer much-needed fiber, a nutrient completely absent in eggs. Nuts and seeds contribute beneficial vitamin E and healthy fats, while lean poultry delivers B vitamins in different proportions than what you'd find in eggs. When eggs become your primary protein source, you unfortunately miss out on all these valuable benefits. There's also significant emerging research highlighting the importance of protein distribution throughout the day, particularly for seniors. Muscle loss, a condition known as sarcopenia, accelerates significantly after the age of 60. To effectively maintain muscle mass, seniors need approximately 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal, not just breakfast. If your breakfast primarily consists of 2 eggs, you're only getting about 12 grams of protein, which isn't enough to optimally stimulate muscle protein synthesis. The broader picture is this. Seniors generally require about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, a higher amount than younger adults. For a senior weighing around 150 pounds, this translates to roughly 68 to 82 grams of protein per day. Attempting to fulfill this requirement solely through eggs would necessitate consuming 11 to 14 eggs daily, a dietary pattern that could be catastrophic for your cholesterol levels and overall heart health. The clear solution, therefore, is protein diversity. Incorporate eggs as one valuable protein source within your weekly rotation, but don't stop there. Aim to include fish twice a week. Enjoy legumes several times. Integrate lean poultry, try Greek yogurt, and consistently incorporate nuts and seeds into your diet. This balanced approach ensures you receive complete nutrition while minimizing the risks associated with overconsumption of eggs. So, there you have it. Let's quickly recap some of the most critical egg-related mistakes that could be putting your health at risk. First, always cook your eggs thoroughly. The bacterial risk associated with runny yolks is simply not worth it. Second, limit your intake to a maximum of 3 to 4 whole eggs per week, especially if you have existing heart disease risk factors. Third, never leave cooked eggs at room temperature for more than 2 hours. And perhaps most importantly, avoid relying on eggs as your sole protein source. Diversity in your protein intake is absolutely essential for healthy aging. Consider Robert, whose story we touched upon earlier. Following his heart attack, his doctors placed him on a strict dietary plan. He didn't eliminate eggs entirely, but he reduced his consumption to 3 fully cooked eggs per week, consistently pairing them with vegetables rather than bacon. He diligently diversified his protein sources and focused on heart-healthy foods. 2 years later, his cholesterol is well under control, and he is healthier than he has been in decades. His journey illustrates the profound impact of making these dietary adjustments. You too have the power to implement these same positive changes, starting today. Your future health and well-being will undoubtedly benefit from the choices you make right now. I encourage you to reflect on your current habits. Which of these common mistakes might you currently be making?